All right, so we back again. We getting it done. We peeling back another chapter, man, to the prison without bars. It starts within my 2015 book that I published, and it's just powerful. Now it's been in a lot of different county jails. It's been in prisons and all around the nation. It's crazy. I never did think that it was going to do that, but it has done some great things and it's made some great impact in people's lives. When you create anything, you have the intention on it really, man, giving people some value of great significance, right? You have that intention, but it's a crapshoot. You just hope and you believe that it should and it will, and you never know. But this book has definitely, man, it's been in the hands of a lot of different people on both sides of the fence. And everybody has been enlightened by the words that are in the pages of these books, of this book. So I'm just excited to share this with you, on video, just so you can get a better understanding of the words that are written inside of the book. And we'll have that discussion. And then everybody inside of the classroom will have the discussion as well. Group discussions are always good to be able to, just toss around some ideas. And then you can get even some more clarity about, man, how you moving and things like that. So it's powerful. So this is Prison Without Bars. We're about to go ahead and peel back this next chapter. I'm excited, right? We are in chapter number 6 right now. And what this is, who they are is who you are. What you think this is going to be about? You absolutely right. It's about your friends, man. Who you got around you? This is going to be a question that you got to ask yourself. If you're going to get to where you need to be, this is one of these. This is one of the decisions that has to be made, right? You got to make sure that the right people are around you, because if not, man, it can be bad business. I kid you not. I've seen it all too often. So let's dig into this chapter and see what's going on. He who walks with wise men shall become wise, but he who walks with fools will be devoured. Proverbs 13:20. This scripture has resonated with me ever since the first time I read these profound words. Different quotes speaking about this scripture have been in society for generations. Watch the company you keep, and birds of a feather flock together are two of the most common that I recall hearing during my childhood. The people you are around on a daily basis and who dominate the majority of your time will determine where you are going and who you are going to be in life. We have on average 5 people who we are around the most in our lives that influences our character. Show me who your friends are and I will show you who you are. I remember in the streets, different groups of characters all did basically the same things. The people robbing others were in a particular group, and they all looked for opportunities to steal. The people selling drugs hung around each other, and they always looked for the best dope and lowest prices. The people wanting to just get high also hung around together, and they sought out for the best deals for their money to get high. Somebody who was broke and did not have money was not going to be able to hang around the people that had money. That approach to the topic was totally different, which meant the only way the relationship worked was if one abandoned his or her philosophy and adopted the other person's philosophy. Somebody might never heard you speak one word, but if they see you around a bunch of people with questionable morals on a continuous basis, they assume you have those same questionable morals and they separate themselves from you. You lose opportunities based on the people that you have chosen to hang around. With that being said, you can gain opportunities based on the people that you are associated with as well. People went home and were murdered, not because of an act they committed, but because they were in the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong person. People have recidivated in a matter of months because they went home and got involved with the same groups and got caught up in racketeering charges because they were in all the camera shots during the investigation. Saying they were not involved in selling drugs was not enough to keep them out of prison. who you are around is detrimental to your success. So that's something that's heavy. Like, I just remember, man, dudes coming back in through them gates and saying, man, I wasn't even selling no dope. Los, man, they caught me on camera in Vegas. And I done got caught up with this racketeering charge, man. I ain't got nothing to do with that. That was just my guy, man. You know, I did my time. They had did like 7 years and they had got reincarcerated for another 3 years, although they didn't get stretched out. But anytime that you do time, another day is too long, especially if you ain't even moving in that manner to get you incarcerated. But one thing that they was not paying attention to is who they are around. And guess what? Them brothers caught cases because of the people that they was around. The people that they was around, they throwing money, they getting it in, they doing it. They running the town. They in Vegas, man, breaking the crab tables and everything. And it's just like, you got involved in that. You got mixed up in that because of who you were around. And now what you getting is something that you didn't want to have. And that's important. So you got to make sure that you really pay attention to who you are around. When I'm talking about, man, he who walks with the wise shall become wise. He who walks with fools shall be devoured. It's not no gray area there. That's black and white. If you walk with the wise, guess what's going to happen? You are going to become wise. If you walk with fools, guess what's going to happen? You are going to be devoured. It's not saying that, man, if that fool happens to be your best friend, then you won't be devoured. If that fool happens to be your cousin that you grew up with ever since the sandbox, you won't be devoured. You still will be devoured. If your cousin is a fool and you hanging with that fool, you will be devoured. You will unconsciously take on the characteristics of a fool without even thinking about it. Remember what I said. Influence is so strong, and you gotta really pay it some attention, especially when you are incarcerated inside a prison, because the people that you are doing the time with inside a prison, they gotta be on the page that you wanna be on, or they are at where you wanna go. Either or, right? Y'all gotta be going in the same direction, because if not, it's going to be too challenging for y'all to get that thing together. And the influence is too strong, right? So who they are is who you are. And I think that a lot of times, man, people just think that it's really not no big deal, but it is. I kid you not, it is. It's a big deal. People catch cases, people get murdered. Because if you've done something and I'm just coming home and you'd have been robbing people or whatever may be the case, or you got all of this beef going on, and I'm coming home, and then the people who you done stepped on, they see you, and I'm with you, and they decide to light you up, they ain't gonna stop at me. They gonna light me up right along with you. So then that's why it's important that you start right now while you are incarcerated, while you are in this position right now, and say, you know what? I'm about to go ahead and start to separate myself from the people that I need to separate myself from. Man, take this serious right now. Take your circle serious right now. The 5 people that you are around, man, start to ask questions about where they going, what they want to get done. Understand, man, who they are, so you can see if y'all should continue to travel this journey together. Because they might not even want the same thing that you want. They might be okay with going to prison and staying in prison. They might be okay with getting shot up. They might be okay with getting killed and then don't have enough money to bury themselves. They might be okay with that. But you got to make the decision and say, you know what, I'm not. And because I'm not, it's no way that I can hang around with somebody who is. Now, it's not looking down on nobody. It's just you being focused on your mission. How can I get my mission accomplished if I'm around people who can't teach me how to reach my destination? You're not even looking in my way. You got to make that decision and separate. It's hard, but if it was easy, everybody would do it. Everybody would be able to say, man, I've been home for 13 years. Everybody would be able to say, man, yeah, man, I'm able to be influential in my children's lives. Everybody would be able to say that. Everybody would be able to say, man, yeah, I can watch the Browns game every single Sunday. Everybody would be able to say that. But they can't, because they are not willing to do what is necessary. And sometimes what is necessary is making that decision and saying, you know what? Man, me and you, we just ain't on the same page no more. We ain't going in the same direction. It's fine. I'm not saying your direction is wrong. You're not saying that my direction is wrong. It's just saying that we going in different directions. That's all. It's no judgment here. It's just saying that we going in two different directions. What I want out of life and what you want out of life is two different things. And I'm going to be honest with myself. And if we want two different things out of life, then there's no way that I'm going to be able to get it done, because I'm either trying to convince you to want what I want, or you trying to convince me to want what you want. And in the meantime, we're not getting to what we want to, what we actually want. We're spending too much time trying to convince each other. We don't want to do that, right? When you're incarcerated, you hear stories of life going on without you. Your friends will scream, "Free so-and-so," but that is as far as it goes. The parties will continue. The game will continue, whether you are there or not. You rarely see people get support from the people they would be attempting to impress if they were free. The support often comes from your parents and maybe your significant other. I have always been a man who, once something makes sense to me, can devote myself to it wholeheartedly. It made sense to dedicate myself to my development. The reason why I said it made sense to dedicate myself to my development, listen to what I said before. I said that, man, the people that was around me, if they can't help me to develop into the individual that I need to be, that's going to put me in a desirable place, then I gotta separate from you. And I don't care if we got the same blood pumping through our veins or not. I will separate from my mother if she compromised me becoming who I needed to be. I'm not about to compromise my development for nobody. That's not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to make sure you develop and become who you shall be. Because when you do, there's going to be people that's attached to you that's going to benefit off of you making that decision. It's going to be people that will be blessed because you made the decision to develop and be committed to your development. You must evolve. So I'm going to commit to my development, not to people. That's what it's all about. And if you don't fit, then you don't fit. That's what you got to do. You got to look at that. I recall being 13 and dumbing myself down to fit in with the crowd. I could have gotten married and honor roll in school, but it seemed a lot cooler to get bad grades than good grades. Some of my friends really struggled and could not do better without the proper tutoring, but that was not the case for me. I did not want them to make fun of me, so I chose to underperform to make them feel comfortable. That was an error in my thinking. Excelling would have only opened doors for others, while my underperforming only kept the doors closed for those who could have used it open. Fitting in with the crowd is hard work, and it is a disservice to you. Marion Correctional Institution had a prison population of roughly about 2,400 inmates when I was incarcerated. 2,400 people from different cities and backgrounds I had to study and learn in order for me to be successful in the penitentiary. Who to associate with and who not to associate with can be critical, not only in prison, but throughout life in general. Growing up on the streets gave me a head start on making the correct associations. Failure is the tuition to success, and I had failed in choosing the right associates in the past. This failure brought me many losses, but I was able to learn from those losses. So actually, it was a gain. I learned to read people a lot better. The streets teach you to do that through experience. Being 13 and involved in a game where I had to deal with grown men made me grow up quickly as far as reading people was concerned. I studied people and always looked at them with a keen eye and left no room for the garbage. I presented myself as an individual not looking for friends or looking to join any crews for protection. I was not looking to connect with new people. I was looking to do my time and get out of that place and be the person who never went back there again. I had a few people I knew from the streets in my dorm, and I spoke with them, but I wasn't clingy. I did not know what they had been doing before I had arrived at the institution. I wanted any problems put on my plate to be problems that I created myself, not somebody else's. So again, when we was just talking about going home and ended up in that situation, the same thing happens in prison. Some of the people that you know, that's from your neighborhood and things like that know you, when you come in and you want to go ahead and attach yourself to them, don't be so quick to attach yourself to them, because you don't know, man, what they have been doing before you have come there. And you don't want to be associated with somebody that might have been doing some crazy stuff, because people going to look at you and say you just like them, and they going to rock you the same exact way. I've seen it happen. People will come to the penitentiary and link up with they dudes, and they dudes will be dudes that messed around and be getting their stuff taken, right? And then guess what happens to that person who link up with the person who's getting their stuff taken? They gonna try you, because they like, man, if you with somebody who get their stuff taken, then obviously you can get your stuff taken too. And now you are in a situation because people are trying to play you like the person you hanging around with. So that's why you got to make the conscious, decision to really analyze, man, what they about, what they talking about, and then you got to make the decision. But I always advise people, man, don't get so quick. Don't get into all of these different gangs and cliques and stuff like that, because at the end of the day, man, people go home and they ain't thinking about you, right? They gonna go home, they ain't sending nothing back into you. I'm gonna be honest with you, right? When they go home, they are not about to send you back in no letter, no money order. You probably won't even be able to get a phone call in, right? But even if you do get a phone call in, that's only gonna last for a period of time before the outside start to take over, and they like, man, I ain't got time to be talking on the phone with you, right? That's what happens. So trying to impress people that's not gonna be there, it really doesn't make any sense. Your main responsibility is to do what? Make sure that you develop into an individual that this never happens again. You want to say, I'm going to stand on what matters to me most. I got to become that person. So if I don't hang with you, you can go back to the hood all day long and say, man, Los, man, wasn't even hanging with me, man. He treated me funny while I was in there. That's fine. Because I got a son to raise. I got to develop myself. I cannot continue to be in this situation. I don't care what you go back to the hood telling people nothing, because I'm not committed to no hood. I'm not committed to nobody. I'm committed to my development, because that is my responsibility. I'm not responsible to develop them. I'm responsible to develop me. So I'm not about to sit up here and get people praises, because like I said in this right here, in this chapter, man, all of those praises don't mean nothing. That's how I looked at it. Man, what does you saying free Los mean to me? Because I still had to do every single day. I still had to stand up for count. It doesn't do me any justice. Nobody is vying to do some of my time for me. Nobody is saying, I'll do this weekend, Los, man. You come on out here and you kick it for the weekend, man. Or you kick it for this week, and I'm going to do this week. Ain't nobody fighting over to do no time for me. So when I understood that, I said to myself, man, I'm going to make sure that I'm going to place people in my circle that's going to assist with my development. Because I understand that if I'm underdeveloped, then that's when I'll be in the most compromising of spaces, because I'm underdeveloped. The people who get taken advantage of are those people who are underdeveloped. But if you are developed, then guess what? You'll be able to design your life the way that you want to design your life. Again, you. This is a journey that's meant for you to travel. So I don't care if you didn't grow up with me. If you fit my idea of what I want to be, if you can help me become what I want to be, it doesn't matter you ain't grow up with me. You can help me get accomplished what needs to be accomplished. You about to be in my inner circle. And vice versa. You could have grew up with me from the sandbox. You got to get outside of my inner circle. You got to get on the outside, because I can't have you on the inside. This is real conversation. You being on the inside is a liability to me getting done what I need to get done. I need assets around me. I'm that serious. It's that serious. Man, doing 10 years ain't no joke. It's not a game. And you got to take it serious. When you play, ain't nobody else playing. It's not a game. So I was serious about the people that was around me. I rarely took part in the group breaks, which is ramen noodles, some sort of meat, mayo, cheese, and chips all mixed together. I did not want to use all my mayonnaise or cheese in a couple of breaks. It would feed 10 people, but then I wouldn't have that condiment later in the week. It made more sense for me to be as independent as possible. And I ate a soup and a half along with tuna, a squirt of mayonnaise, and cheese once a day. My cheese and mayonnaise, which is the most expensive, lasted a couple of weeks that way. I made sure I went to the chow hall for lunch and dinner to preserve my commissary. My commissary lasted the entire week, so I did not have to go borrow from somebody else. Listen to what I was saying with that. And I've seen so many people, they get into a hole because they in these big old group breaks. The group breaks is when, you know what the group breaks is, and people are breaking down the soups and putting it all together, but then when they look up, they ain't got no more mayonnaise. They only use the mayonnaise 2-3 times. Now their mayonnaise is gone. Now their cheese is gone. So what I said that, man, it's better for me to just go ahead and get my mayonnaise, get my cheese, and just be self-sufficient. I just want to be self-sufficient. I don't want to be sitting up there, man, linking up with other people, because at the end of the day, what I've understood just from, just dealing in the streets, man, people ain't gonna be there. So you want to make sure that you are tight. So then that was me saying that, man, you know what? I'm gonna make sure that I'm gonna get my stuff and I'm gonna do it on my own. I'm not about to get with everybody and then when it's all gone, we all looking at each other, or we asking other people for stuff, and you got to do a 2-for-1, and now you find yourself with nothing when the commissary come back around because you owe so many people stuff, right? It doesn't make sense. I made it my business to surround myself with good-hearted individuals wanting to expand their knowledge. There is always a duality going on There's always a duality going on when you are trying to make this change between the old you and the new you. When you're an outlaw for so long, it is a major challenge to transition into the mindset of a civilian, especially when you have so many people around you promoting the outlaw mentality. This is the ultimate challenge in becoming free behind bars, detaching from the people you recognize the most and attaching instead to the unfamiliar. If you are around the outlaw mentality and you are trying to transition from that mentality, it will be next to impossible to make that transition, for the simple fact that those individuals around you will always bring the outlaw mentality out of you. I knew the benefits that outlaw mentality provided. One of those benefits was my current situation. I had to change my circle if I was going to accomplish changing my mentality. See, it's no joke. If you around the people who got that outlaw mentality, what they gonna do is they gonna pull that outlaw mentality about you. And you trying to leave it be, but it's difficult to leave it be when you around people that promote it so much, because you're gonna be like, man, I gotta pull it up out of me in order to stay in this group. That's what's required to be in this group. That's what's required to be around that individual, is to have that outlaw mentality. So I just made sure that I was around people that were saying, man, hey, man, I want to be a father, man. I don't want to do this ever again. I made sure that I was around people that said, man, this stuff is corny, man. Like, ain't no way that I'm going to continue to put myself in a situation to be getting counted and going to recreation and things like that. Man, I don't want to be around all of these men. Like, I don't want to do this. Like, this is not my way of living. I made it a point to get around those individuals who had that type of feeling about prison like I did, and was willing to do what needed to be done to change the game, was willing to develop themselves so that they can so they can see a different way of life. That's what it's about. So this chapter who they are is who you are is all about just making sure that you are conscious about the people that you got in your circle. Don't, man, take that lightly. Don't allow anybody into your circle. You have the decision to weed your garden. Matter of fact, you got to weed your garden. If you don't weed your garden, the weeds is going to overtake your garden. It is your responsibility to weed your garden. Some of the people that surround you, they weeds, they deaf, they are attachments. They are not connections. They are attachments. That means that they are there to drain the energy from you. You got to make sure that you get connected to the people that will give you the energy, that will give you ideas, that makes you feel like, man, you can get this done. You can overcome this. You want to get around those people. You don't want to get around people that's making you doubt your ability, making you second guess who you are. You don't want to get around those people. You want to get around the people where you feel charged up. And if you can't find them, then you roll solo and you get on YouTube, you read the book, right? You look at the video, you do whatever you got to do. You roll solo. That's how you got to get it done. But you cannot afford to be around individuals who is going in a different direction. If they ain't building you up, then they tearing you down. And anybody who's tearing you down, that's because they already tore down. Make the decision. Who they are is who you are. You just gotta evaluate, make an observation, and say who you are is not who I want to be. So the best chance for me not to become who you are is for me to give you plenty of space. There's nothing wrong with that. The responsibility is yours. Prison without bars, it starts within. That is chapter 6. I will see you in the next session. I hope y'all getting this content. I hope y'all getting it because it definitely needs to be gotten. All right, I'll see y'all in the next chapter. Peace.